Welcome to that 80s show, Dory. I hate my office.
Are you having a manic Friday?
Man, I hate it. You know, that 80s show, we come to you from very numerous places. One of them is where I've got my little 80s studio in the sky, but the sky stinks, Dory, and I've had enough. What should I do?
You're not going to take it anymore. I can hear.
I'm going to Alice Cooper them. You're quite right. That's
sister.
You know what? I'm going to do both of them. As I said it, I knew I was wrong. But if Alice Cooper did have a sister, I assume she would be twisted. So, am I wrong?
Correct.
Am I?
No.
So I'm never wrong. Welcome to that 80 show. What we're like is everybody's got that crazy hoarder family member. We've all got him, and some of them stay in flats in Germiston. This is not my particular family member, but they hoard stuff from the 80s, old magazines, boxes of cereal. You know what I mean?
Cereal?
I don't know what hoarders do. And we're like the audio equivalents of that, where we hoard things from the 80s and then tell you about them. Like we hoard them in our brains and then we tell you about them. Like, you know, so this is like, have you ever watched those shows where they go into a hoarder's den and they're like walking past these piles of old magazines and unopened post and old Reader's Digests. And they're like, oh, this place smells like King Rat and Pink Sweets. And that's what we're like.
Yes, if we were a scratch and sniff show, that's what it would smell like.
Oh, wait. Hold on, Dory. Whoa. Whoa. You know, in case we've never mentioned it, this is an award-winning podcast. We are the APFA award winners for Best Music Podcast. That's the whole of Africa.
Yeah.
And the thing is, obviously, they're doing the awards again this year, and we want to win again. But to win again, we got to go, look, we got to up the game. We're always looking to be better. So strap on and sniff podcast. No, that's maybe the year after. Maybe we're not there for strap on and sniff. But
I think strap on and sniff will be easier to accomplish than scratch and sniff.
My God, strap on and sniff podcast. Strap on and sniff anything. But a scratch and sniff podcast. I mean, it could be a thing. What would it smell like? If it's an 80s podcast, like I say, mothballs and pink sweets.
Definitely the pink sweets, for sure.
Definitely the pink sweets. What else? Brut.
What else?
Brut.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What perfumes were you wearing?
For me, no, I don't wear perfume, but for me it would be Panburger.
Panburger. Yes, good. Mellow Yellow.
Oh, yes.
Mellow Yellow. It's like people say to me, oh, Mountain Dew's a bit like Mellow Yellow. I'm like, well, guy, you have just compared drinking Jesus tears to drinking Mountain Dew. What are you talking?
I drank Mountain Dew for the first time in many, 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 many years the other day. It tastes horrible because they've done to it what they've done to all the other nice cold drinks. They've added sweetener. It tastes like shit.
Oh, no. I know. Why, guys?
They've ruined it all. They've ruined all of them.
Everything tasted great in the 80s because we had no sugar laws. The law was more sugar. Now with more sugar. Oh, Dory, Heidi Klum, what's your opinions on her?
I don't really have any opinion one way or the other.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, I'm gonna give you an opinion of her.
Okay.
So Heidi Klum, model, right? Does all the things. She's done all sorts of stuff. Was a model, and then big reality TV star. She's America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, She's on all the talents. Project Runway. She was on Project Runway. And notoriously, they call her the Queen of Halloween, right? So every Halloween, she has these elaborate Halloween costumes. You seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, no, you got...
the one who was married to Seal or is married to Seal?
She was married to Seal, and now she's married to another guy who's also in a rock band, but he's a lot younger than her. Listen, rockers have an appeal, but he does not look like a rocker who should be dating Heidi Klum, right? I mean, she's still a supermodel, right? Even She's still a supermodel. So she tries all the things, and she is the queen of Halloween. So every Halloween, she outrageous. She did a bit of an Addicted to Love Halloween costume a few years ago. But in that Robert Palmer video, there were all the girls like in the black dress. She bought all of them. So like that was a Halloween costume, all of the schmodels, right?
Hang on, was she dressed as all of them, or did she get a entourage?
Oh no, she was them, but she was one, but then there was all of them. So her costume was that, all of them.
Okay.
Right. Last year there was
Airwolf flying above. Sorry, Airwolf is flying above.
It's fine. It's fine. It's right on cue. He's coming to rescue me from my shithole of an office. It's fine. You know how I just assumed Airwolf is a male? That's fine. Anyway. So then last year Halloween costume was some human centipede thing. I can't quite work it out. No, but her costume's outrageous.
Okay.
But every now and again, she'll make a song, right? Releases a song. So she was hanging out with her friend Tiesto. Just hanging with the late Tiesto, right? He passed away. I think he did, yes.
I think so.
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
And she had this idea she said, hey, remember that 80s song? And it was so great. And it was about sunglasses, and it was about night, and it was about wearing them, and it was about me, and it was about me wearing my sunglasses at night. I, a schmodel, should remake that song.
Does she sing?
So Dory, at risk of getting kicked off, because you're not allowed putting music in podcasts, but we're edge, we're cutting edge, we'll take the risk. I want to play you a bit of Heidi Klum and her official version of the Sunglasses at Night remake.
Okay, everyone, get your sunglasses out. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can watch you weave and breathe your storyline.
So, I don't hate it.
Thank you for listening to that 80 show. Dory, why did these words come out of your face? Why did you make those sounds?
Don't compare it to the original. And you take it for what it is, which is a dance song.
Mm-hmm.
It is what do they call it? A dance.
It's EDM. Yeah.
These days. Yes. It's good.
Can I tell you something? I don't hate it either. I found it quite charming.
She sings way better than I expected.
I know.
And the music is really good.
It's kind of catchy, and they haven't. I mean, because the original was quite edgy as it is. I mean, it was quite futuristic sounding, and they haven't really messed with that too much. And she's not terrible. And in the music video, she's writhing around on the ground. It's
very sexy, very, very music video is worth watching. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm glad you said that, because I so badly wanted to dislike it. I really did, but she's got.
We're honest, and we're not going to hate everything just because it's remaking something from the 80s. Sometimes it works.
She's bringing it back to life, and here's her quote. She's saying, I was thinking about the moments in the middle of the night at a party when you've been up way too late, your makeup has melted off, you're sweaty and cross-eyed, and all you crave is a pair of sunglasses. Sure, sunglasses will rehydrate. That's me, okay? Klum explained in a press release. This scene reminded me of the iconic 80s hit, Corey Hart's Sunglasses at Night. I am beyond ecstatic that I was able to remix and record this track with my EDM hero, Tiesto. What an honor. So she's like over the moon about this. She's like, it's not a shameless cash grab. Heidi Klum's got a shitload of money. She's like, I love the song. I want to make it. I want to celebrate it. And there you go. And she's got 2 new fans. So, what's to hate?
Hang on. Tiesto can't be the one who died then, because how old is the song?
No, well, let us just double check that.
I'll tell you who died.
No, Tiesto.
The other one.
Tiesto is still alive. Listen
killing
here.
people. It's not Tiesto. It's that other one. He was Scandinavian. I can't think of his name right now because
Yes. You see, look, if you haven't listened to the show for a long time, Dory and I have a very bad record of assuming people from the 80s are dead. So what hope do we have of like a music genre outside of our speciality? So Tiesto, not dead. Great. Song, great.
No.
Corey Hart,
Yeah.
still alive. That
Indeed.
Indeed.
I wonder how he feels about it. You know what we can do?
We will endeavor. We'll endeavor to find out.
And how are we going to find out, Paula?
Well,
how are we going to find out?
We just so happen to be friends with a gentleman called the Celeb Savant, who
Exactly.
just happens to have Corey Hart on his WhatsApp contact list. So
Maybe not, but not yet. If
No,
not yet.
We'll find it.
Yes.
We'll find it. So we're definitely going to find out. So that's what we'll do for next week, to find out how Corey Hart feels about Sunglasses at Night.
I have to tell you, I collect every year. I do like my song of the year, and I collect. So it's in an attempt to discover music outside the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I find new music that I don't know either from this year or doesn't have to be from this year, but at least like the last 10 years, let's say, that I don't know, that I try and rediscover. This song is going on the list.
Wow, big call. Because that's the list.
Yeah.
Dory's Song of the Year list is, now that's what I call music.
It's a collaborative effort. I have friends sending me songs almost on a daily basis.
And there's wild stuff in there. I mean, forget algorithms. Like, this is the real deal, the real Mamba Jamba. So that's a big call, Dory. That's a big call.
I have a newfound interest in Heidi Klum.
I think let's curate that. Let's not make the interest, because she's done other songs, and let's just keep that one.
Should we just leave the other songs alone?
Okay. Let's celebrate her for what she's done now. So that's a good one.
All right.
So
okay.
Sunglasses at Night could be could have actually been the title of the greatest, most talked about 80s documentary in the world at the moment. Netflix's? I've never said that.
Yes.
It is Netflix's.
Yes.
I've never said it. Sounds weird. Netflix's The Greatest Night in Pop, which has more star power per second than anything you'll see in 2024, and a very high ratio of Sunglasses at Night. Dory, I know you haven't seen it, but I'm going to tell you about it.
Started watching it.
Oh.
I started.
And you could stop?
You know I hate the song.
No, Dory.
Right?
Oh, so, okay.
I hate the song.
Right, so you just hate
the song.
okay, well, you just hate
But-
starving people in Africa. So, I mean, what can I say? I mean, that's not
I
obviously.
hate the song. But the docu looks interesting. So I'm going to watch it. In fact, I thought, I could watch this and use it as my movie on that 80s show. But clearly I can't, because
No.
we're going to talk about it now.
Because I knew you
Fine.
were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that. So you can still come back to it after you've watched it, right? But if you don't know, right? So back in the 80s, there were two massive humanitarian aid charity singles. The one were Do They Know It's Christmas, which was all the 80s super groups, super artists from the UK. And then We Are the World was all the super artists from the United States, right?
Right.
And these were the two big charity singles. We did a feature once, a segment on the show, wondering who would win in a physical fight of the battle of the super groups. It was a draw in the end. But this documentary, now it's a notorious night in pop. There are so many stories around it. But this documentary is now the definitive, approved, authorized retelling of the making of We Are the World, the charity single. Now, they call it the greatest night in pop because due to everybody's schedule, which I actually did not know this, they had one night to make it, right?
That I did not realize.
Yes.
And I kind of got that from the first 10 minutes or so that I've watched of it. Was like, oh my God, they literally got everybody together in one go.
Yeah.
Like, I did not expect that. I don't know how Band-Aid did it though.
Because, well, you got to know.
Probably the same.
You got to know that's coming. That you got to know that's
Yeah.
coming next. It's in the works, right?
Yeah.
So what I loved about how they treated this is they treated it like a heist movie, right? We got to get all these people in one place. It's in Los Angeles, and we've got one night to make it happen. And the way they ramp up the tension, it feels very much heisty, which is really cool because even though you know they made the song, they still create the intrigue of they're never going to make the song. They're not going to get the song right. And we know they did it. But well, God, it's 2:00 in the morning. They're hungry. Diana Ross is having a tantrum. No, Diana Ross was lovely. She didn't have a tantrum. People are walking out. A prince won't show up. No, this is a nightmare. They're not going to make the song, which is great. That's great filmmaking because they take what we already know and they still add suspense on it. Great. So many great things in the story. Lionel Richie is the...
Yes. Look, can we talk about Lionel Richie just for a second?
Best guy.
He is the host. The host and
the narrator.
He put the docu together, right?
He did because of course he co-wrote the song with Michael Jackson, right?
Right.
So we've been blessed to be in a very intimate room with Lionel Richie, and
yes,
undeniably he's probably one of the greatest humans who've ever lived.
I just remember him being very funny,
hilarious, great guy, great guy, and so.
I mean, who doesn't love Lionel Richie?
It's a great question.
Anyone? I hear crickets.
No.
Crickets and tumbleweeds.
Crickets. No, you're right.
Yeah.
We all love him. So
that's one of the reasons I will sit through it. No, look, as soon as they start singing, I'm going to mute it. But
no, Dori, then you're shit out of luck.
Okay. Oh, is it like the whole way through? I'm just going to hear it the whole way through.
It is constant.
Oh my God.
Even the guy who made the movie, the director, a Vietnamese director, and I'm just quickly looking for it.
I can't think of the name. It was an unfamiliar name.
Yes. He said that he was like, you know what? I'm going to make the song, but I'm going to make this documentary, but I know I'm going to hate the song by the end of it. And he actually didn't. He's like...
Wow, and I hate the song from the beginning of it.
Yeah. Maybe it'll convert you, Dori. Maybe it'll really convert you. I'll tell you what's the thing about it. It answers a couple of questions. So, we have told the story about how Stevie Wonder said, if anyone causes trouble, I'm driving you home. It elaborates a bit on that story. We've spoken about that before. That comes in, and that actual moment is in the documentary.
Amazing.
It answers why Prince, who was massive, he cleaned up at the American Music Awards and Grammys that year. It answers why he's not in it.
Well, I heard, and don't correct me because, let's leave some intrigue for people who are going to watch it. I heard that the reason Prince wasn't involved is because him and Michael Jackson had major beef. They did not want to be in a room together.
So watch
not confirm nor deny.
Watch the documentary.
I will find out.
It skirts around Madonna as well, because Madonna, mid-80s, why she wasn't in it, and it doesn't, satisfactorily answer that.
Okay. Let me tell you something quickly. So there was like a kind of in the intro, like just in the very intro, there's like a flash. You kind of see a bit of everyone. And I had it on, and my 16-year-old looked at Daryl Hall and went, "Is that Bon Jovi?" Now, it was like a side shot, very quick, forgivable. Then I was like, why was Bon Jovi not there? Then I was like, oh, well, they hadn't really had their big hit yet, but they did already. I actually went down a rabbit hole. They did already exist as a band because they actually formed in 1983, but they did only have their big breakout hit in like 1986. So they kind of just missed the thing.
Look, the stars that they did gather for this were, listen, we're not about some guys called Bon Jovi who might make it. These are like
big guys at the time.
They're a hall of famers in that. It's actually when you see them all together that I'll tell you the human side of it. that's really going to strike you, because you go Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Kenny Rogers, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, Hall & Oates, Harry Belafonte, Al Jarreau.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on, right?
Right.
But the human side of it is
Right.
Huey Lewis, who was riding the crest of the wave. Like, he was number one,
Yes.
shitting himself because now he has to sing in front of Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder. Like, it's that part of it, because what they actually did is they removed all their people from the room. So it was only artists in the room. No hangers on, no publicists, nobody. Everybody get out. So it was just them, and it's just the star power. And like Steve Perry, like when they getting stuck on certain parts. And I even said to my wife, I said, wow, what a room to brainstorm in, because every idea you get is going to be, yeah. Okay, they're all brilliant.
You've really made me much more interested in watching it. Well done.
Bob Dylan, going to
Yeah.
completely change your mind about him. Bruce Springsteen, everybody in there.
I have a huge respect for Bob Dylan. I just don't think he should sing the songs. For us.
Wait, watch it. You
Okay.
can still have it as your movie recommendation, and we can discuss this. But the
All
one
right, I
thing,
will come back with it.
the one thing it doesn't answer for me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna quickly want to talk about Michael Jackson in it though, because obviously he was the huge driving force behind it. He wrote a lot of the lyrics. He worked with Quincy Jones to make it happen. And Michael Jackson, like, I was listening to a podcast about him over the holidays, and we're definitely in this phase of Michael Jackson about like where we have to separate the artist from the human. We kind of have to go, the guy who made the music is a different thing, because you cannot deny the music. You can't, like, you just have to separate it, right?
Yeah.
He's genius. Like, when you see him, there's moments of him working by himself and just doing Michael Jackson stuff, and you're like, oh my, this is like, that's Beethoven like level of genius there. Unreal.
Yeah.
The one thing it doesn't answer for me, which I had to Google afterwards, why is Dan Ackroyd there? What is Dan Ackroyd doing? Because he's there. I've always wondered, why is Dan Ackroyd there, right? Because he wasn't superstar Dan Ackroyd at the point. He was still SNL Dan Ackroyd, did Blues Brothers, but he wasn't like massive Dan Ackroyd yet.
Okay,
And
so does it answer that question?
no,
Doesn't
Dori,
answer it.
no. They make a Ghostbuster joke, which cool,
Right?
but they don't get into it. So I had to go, look, Dan Ackroyd was there by mistake. So he was in LA looking for a new, not a new talent manager, a new business manager. And this business manager was like, look, awesome. A couple of the clients that I handle, they're doing this crazy thing at the studio. Come with me. Just come with me. You're going to hang out. And when they see him, they're like, oh, you're Blues Brothers. Come in. Come sing. And he's like, he didn't know what he's doing. He's like, I'm Dan Ackroyd, and I'm being directed by Quincy Jones, and there's Michael Jackson. What the hell is happening? So that's the story. That's why Dan Ackroyd's there. Fun stuff.
Okay. I'm
So-
glad you told me that, because I would have been watching it going, what the hell is Dan Ackroyd doing there?
Yeah. No,
That's
so
a really cool story.
so give it a watch. It is one of the, I mean, like, you know what? Netflix have kind of just figured out how to do these music documentaries. They did Wham last year, which was phenomenal.
Yes.
This is just as good. Now we eagerly await Do They Know It's Christmas documentary. So it's all happening. It's all happening. Thank you. Netflix's The Greatest Night in Pop. Subtitle, We Wear Our Sunglasses at Night. A lot of sunglasses. So Dori, you
I'll
can
count them.
many. You'll run out. If you have a drinking game, every time you see sunglasses at night, you drink, you'll be out by 15 minutes. Like you won't make it.
I'm not drinking any alcohol, so I'll do it with water.
Okay, cool enough. But then you're gonna have to wee all the time. You're gonna miss the best bits. So, you can keep that for your movie recommendation. But I want a movie recommendation, a viewing recommendation from you for this week.
Well, funnily enough, okay, so here's what happened this week. Let's go back to this week, right? On Monday, I said to you, I don't know if I'm going to have time to sort out a movie this week, right? Those were my words. I was like, dude, I'm working like crazy. I don't know what's going to happen. And then I get home on Monday night, or it was on the Monday or Tuesday, and I see there's this thing on Netflix, this thing about We Are the World. Perfect. I'll do that. Then I started watching it and realized I hate this song. I don't think I can watch this. But then the universe sent something to me, Paula.
Can I just stop there while we're receiving from the universe?
Yes.
Dori, you like Heidi Klum's version of Sunglasses at Night, yet you do not like the Avengers Assembled greatest song of the 80s in America called We Are the World. But you like Heidi Klum.
Easiest, schlockiest, vomitous song.
And Heidi
Do
Klum...
they know it's Christmas? Do they know it's Christmas for all its, problematic lyrics? At least is a nice song. I could sing along to it. I can hear it without wanting to throw up. We Are the World? Not so much.
So Heidi Klum making Corey Hart's I Wear My Sunglasses at Night, which is not exactly the most in-depth, examination of the human condition. Okay?
No.
It's about...
Especially her reasoning. Her reasoning was because her mascara was smudged, right? And she wanted some sunglasses.
Right?
Very deep. Very deep.
Tiesto, supremely talented, way more talented than me. He's not Quincy Jones. No. So you're telling me that I Wear My Sunglasses at Night by Heidi Klum is preferred over We Are the World. We are the children. We are the ones who... Despite watching that movie many times, I cannot remember the lyrics.
Anytime.
But anyway.
Any day. Yeah, moving on.
Receive the universe upon Steve. Let's carry on.
So, the universe delivered. Our dear friend Costa, who has been on our show a while back, fellow Wham aficionado and fan.
He's doing all the things these days, hey? His comedy career, he's doing everything now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
He's going to be performing comedy in Greece in, I think, next month or something like that. Yeah.
All the things.
I know. He's doing all the things. Now, I had a big birthday last year, you remember, in November, but I didn't end up having a big birthday celebration. And Costa messaged me and said, listen, I want to do a belated special thing for you for your birthday. There is a special screening this week at the movies of a Pet Shop Boys concert, and I'm taking you to it.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Right?
Let's go.
Okay. I'm like, what? Then I look. So he sends me the thing. Pet Shop Boys did this worldwide thing release this week of a movie of their show that was, I don't know when it was recorded, but it literally came out this week. And it's called Pet Shop Boys Dream World, the greatest hits live at the Royal Arena, Copenhagen. There were only 2 screenings, and this seems to be worldwide, that it was going to be screened on these 2 days only, worldwide. One of them was this past Wednesday, which is when I went. And the next one is on this coming Sunday. So if you are a huge Pet Shop Boys fan and have lots of money, because my God, the tickets are expensive. They are more than normal movie tickets for some reason, because they're calling it an event. They're calling it a movie event as opposed to just a movie.
This is like a thing now, because didn't Taylor Swift do it where they do it now because they have concerts and then they live stream or something into cinemas. It's a thing.
It wasn't a live stream. This was just a screening. And I mean, Costa said he went to one last year where they did ABBA. They did an ABBA concert. So he knew what to expect, kind of thing. Now, here's the thing. Costa did not see Pet Shop Boys when they came out yet. He has never seen them live. So he was beyond excited. I was beyond excited because I have seen them live. And as you know, favorite concert of all time, blah, 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 etc. And this one's called The Greatest Hits. So it's going to be different to the show that I saw, which was their Electric tour in 2014. So we're like, oh my God, we better get tickets. We panic. He buys the tickets. We walk into the cinema and there's 4 of us.
No ways.
Cinema. I swear.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I've got to be honest. I'm not that surprised. Because it's a weird experience, but I want to hear about it.
I think people didn't know about it. I would never have known about it if you hadn't told me. I don't think it was well publicized.
Stir Kennecore. Listen here. Stir Kennecore.
Our audience. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm now telling our audience, if
yes.
you want to go this Sunday, the 4th, at Cinema Nouveau in Rosebank. I have no idea what time. Find out on the Stay Clinical website if you want to go see it. But I'm going to tell you why you might want to see it, but you might not want to see it. I'm going to go into that now. But what did you want to say?
Do you want the details here? I'm going to give it to you right here. At all the Cinema Nouveaux, seems like it, in Rosebank, Gateway, and V&A, and I see Brooklyn as well. If Rosebank, it's at 1:30 on Sunday. In Gateway, 3:30, and at the V&A, also 3:30. So get yourselves in on that. Stir Chemical, get your acts together. You go, how do we promote an 80s band? You come to the biggest 80s community podcast in South Africa. Get on it. Get on it. We'll do it. Come on. What's happening here? So, but Dori's going to give you an honest opinion. Honest opinion.
I am. Of course, it is a Pet Shop Boys concert. Therefore, it is wonderful, fantastic, all the things. As I said, Costa hadn't seen them here. So he was blown away by, oh my God, look how amazing the lighting and the stage and the costumes and all the things. That being said, this concert was only half as good as the one that they performed here for various reasons.
Really? We're talking
all the hits.
We're talking like decades apart.
Well, they were here in 2014, so it's almost 10 years.
10 years,
almost 10 years. Yeah. So they're due to come back. Like hello, they're releasing a new album this year. They're performing in the UK, in London in July. Can they just like hop past Joburg at some point?
Easy.
That's another story. It wasn't two problems. The biggest problem, you're in the cinema, but it wasn't loud enough.
Oh.
You want, especially for a music concert, to like really be engrossed and like, in it. And it wasn't loud enough to the point where Costa was speaking to me the whole way through and I could hear everything he said. And I'm like half deaf. So, and he kept saying, oh, I wish it was louder. I wish it was louder. Like we were like kind of, dancing in our seats a little bit and singing along. We were probably a pain in the ass to the other people in the cinema.
Stir Chemical, take a listen here.
Yeah.
We understand Cinema Nouveau. I can't imagine that it's going to have the sound systems that your IMAX and things are because they're not going to put those sorts of movies in there. So, silent disco style. Give people headphones so they can adapt their own volume.
Now that would have been a solution to the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Also, a lot of old people go to Cinema Nouveau. Are the old people not deaf? Why is the volume not louder?
Because old people go, this movie's bloody loud. Hey, I can't even think. You're myself thinking even.
My hearing aid is malfunctioning. So there's that. So it wasn't quite loud enough, but I mean, you could still enjoy it. But like Costa was saying, if only I was watching this at home, I'd have the volume way louder, kind of thing. It's like, yeah. And like I say, the show wasn't as good as the one that when they came here, they had dancers and they had just more elaborate stuff going on the screen, more elaborate lighting. The song list was different, obviously, and I can tell you, I'll post it on our Facebook page because there is a version of the electric tour that they came here with on YouTube. The whole concert is on YouTube, and I'll post the link to that. And I'll post the link to the trailer for the Stream World as well. But it was an amazing experience. It was an amazing experience, and I thanked Costa immensely. We had great fun. We had popcorn and all the thing. I haven't been to movies, dude. I haven't been to movies in a very, very, very long time. So just the experience of going to the movie was like a treat. And of course, watching Pet Shop Boys for 2 hours. What a treat!
I want to ask you, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I go to concerts, I don't want to be standing. I'm happy to sit. It's all fine. What's it like watching a concert in a cinema? Because like you say, you're dancing in your chairs. But if there's 4 people there, get up. I mean, what do you do? Like, do you just sit in your chair and go, this is lovely, I love it. Like, it must be a weird thing in your brain.
I mean, it was okay. I mean, we probably could have managed to stand up and we could have moved to the side and, not distracted the other people. I don't know. Costa was singing very loudly. I'm sure the other people were very annoyed by him. He kept saying, I must really be pissing these people off. They came to your Pet Shop Boys, not me. But he carried on anyway. It was so
So I'm
fun.
saying,
It really
silent
was
disco
fun.
style. Your own headphones. Your own headphones.
Yeah, but then if you sing out loud with your headphones, noise cancelling headphones, that's what.
Well, I think they are that, because I've seen those silent disco things, and when people sing, they sing badly. They sing like people who cannot hear themselves singing. So I think they are noise
Anyway.
cancelling.
Look, it's great, and if you miss it at this movie, a very overpriced movie premiere thing on Sunday, I'm sure it will eventually become available on the internet. And if you haven't seen a Pet Shop Boys show, it's absolutely a worthy one to watch because it's all their hits. There was a couple of songs we didn't know. You see, Costa and I haven't kept up with the Pet Shop Boys. We kind of had a lapse after the 90s.
Because they're
We kind of
prolific.
we dipped out.
They
They make an album every couple of years. They've got a new album coming up this year.
Yeah, and you know, like a lot of 80s bands do, but Pet Shop Boys like release properly. They like, they'll end up on heritage charts, but they chart in the normal charts because they're like, no, we're artists, like we're friggin' Pet Shop Boys. So it is. I've also you'll get a song that goes, you like Pet Shop Boys? Do you like this new album? I'm like, 2021. What are you talking about? How's this possible?
I mean, as an example, the Electric album, which was the one that they came here to tour, I of course made an effort to listen to the whole album. There are 2 songs in it I really love and listen to sometimes. The rest I couldn't tell you. So like I've had, there's only so much time and space in the world for the music. But the one thing that Costa said, which is absolutely what makes them one of the greatest live acts, you can see, I mean, everything, the amount of effort and perfection that is put into that show between the costumes and the lighting and the screen and all that stuff. Costa just said to me, he said, my God, this is just pure excellence. There's no other way to describe it. They really respect their audience in the way that they put on a fantastic show.
Respecting
no
your
one's going to
audience.
walk away from that show going, I mean, like I said, I'm just comparing it to the one that I saw here. And in that way, but if I had never seen the show here, I would have been absolutely blown away by this. Blown away. What the hell?
So if you listen to this show and you're used to walking away going, go watch that show, the Pet Shop Boys. Pet Shop Boys Dream World, the hits live at Cinema Nouveau. So fancy. So, even where Cinema Nouveau is in Rosebank, it's away from the riffraff. It's just like, it's next to the fancy camera shop and it's away from the crowd. And it's just like, where's this Cinema Nouveau here? This isn't cinema upstairs gross person. This is Nouveau. Like, I don't even know what that means.
Very fancy.
Very
fancy. Very
fancy.
dignified.
Yes.
Dignified for grown-ups, all those things. Exactly.
And you can go watch it all day. If you want to watch Pet Shop Boys Dream World.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. So I've got a movie that falls into the category of I cannot believe we haven't recommended this movie. I even had to go back and double check because there was a time where we did keep better records of the show, but we kind of don't do much of that anymore.
No, we
You
keep
still do.
records. I do. Every week I fill it in, but the problem is there was a gap where we didn't, and we've got old brains.
Yeah.
So we've probably forgotten some stuff that we have spoken about.
We have. I used to keep better records when we had music because we had to like log music just in case it came up,
Yes.
whatever. So I do know we missed out on a couple of movies like logging them, and I was like, we did not do this movie because it's so bizarre. We would have remembered this movie, right? So
Okay.
the cast is outrageous. When I tell you this cast story, you're going to be like, what are you talking about? So it's one of your favorites, Jeff Goldblum.
Right.
Okay. Pre-stardom, Jim Carrey. Right.
Okay.
Gina Davis, who of Thelma and Louise, and Damon Wayans, who I think was great. And he went on to be like this kind of like, for a while he was the new Eddie Murphy, but it never quite, he was going to be the Eddie Murphy of the 90s, but never quite landed.
Yeah.
So he has a movie that stars all of them. Now, this was a movie that was a staple of Red Nose Day, right? Remember Red Nose Day, all the festivities and all the charity stuff, but they used to show movies all day, like in between vignettes, and they used to show Monty Python movies, and they used to show like absurd Attack of the Killer Clowns. And this was one of the movies, I wouldn't have watched it in the 80s, I would have seen it more in the 90s, that would have been on in there because it was just bizarre. So
Okay.
Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, and Damon Wayans. And if I get through this whole recommendation without saying Matt Damon, when I mean to say Damon Wayans, I am a supremely talented podcaster. They are aliens, okay? In a movie called Earth Girls Are Easy.
Oh my God. Do you know that I've never seen this movie? I know of its existence, but I've never seen it.
It is a CC cult classic, right?
Okay.
Bombed in the 80s, but subsequently, because of everyone went on to have a stellar career in various ways. I mean, you know, even Damon Wayans, I mean, he was huge, had his own sitcoms in Living Color. He had a family sitcom, produced loads of movies with his brothers, where I think his brothers went on to be the bigger names, but he still had a great career. And I think subsequently, because everyone had this fantastic career, people went back to it. And wow, all these people in this movie, it is so terrible. It is so B-grade. It harks back to like those 1950s sci-fi theater movies. Okay,
yes.
In its style.
Like Attack of the, 50-foot woman type vibe.
Exactly, shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So the three of them are aliens. And they're these...
Wait, which three?
Oh,
the three men.
Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, and Matt... see, I did it. Matt Damon. And Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans.
Okay,
cool.
And they are these furry Grinch. Imagine the Grinch from... I think it was Jim Carrey was the Grinch, right? When they made the live-action movie. They look like kind of like that, but they're Citi golf colors. Red, yellow, green. Not red, yellow, blue, not green.
The primary colors.
They're Citi golf colors, red, yellow, blue. And they're super furry. Faces, furry. They look like the Grinch. And these aliens are actually small. So they crash land their spaceship in Gina Davis' swimming pool. She's like this valley girl manicurist. And she finds these aliens. She's going through like a bit of a weird moment with her fiance. She takes the furry aliens to her salon with her friend, shave them. They're handsome. Jim Carrey's kind of like the surfer boy. Matt Damon's kind of like... See, I said, if I say Matt Damon, don't correct me. I mean Damon Wayans. Okay, just
say Damon.
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 Yeah, the Wayans brother. Damon. He's like this, you know, cool guy. And then Jeff Goldblum is super handsome, Lothario, smarmy, you know, doing his most handsome Jeff Goldblum.
Was Jeff, what color was he?
He was the blue one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see that.
So he was the blue one. And then it's just a series of shenanigans with no real risk. They go to a nightclub, of course, which features... I got to tell you, as someone who has partaken himself in many a great dance-off, one of the best dance-off scenes I think there was in an 80s movie with Damon's character and some other guy. And they dance off for the affections of a woman. There is alien sex between Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum. They were married at the time. They had both done The Fly, and they were married. This is what I learned. They were married. They were married.
How did I not know this?
They were married.
How did I not know this?
They were married at the time of this. A co-star.
Just take a minute to go. The Fly. What a great film.
That's what I'm saying.
Moving on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So another co-star, not Jim Carrey or the Wayans brother, were another co-star. She just used to get so aggravated with him because they were just making out all the time. They were just on set, newly married, and just like getting up in each other's business constantly. And they're like, this is very distracting. This could be my big break. And these two aren't taking it seriously at all. So they were married at the time. Jim Carrey had done first that vampire movie recommended a few weeks ago. And him and Damon Wayans hadn't quite gone to In Living Color. In Living Color started the next year. And then that just launched both of their careers. The one thing, it's kind of, I was reading about the pre-production. It was supposed to be a musical, and there are two musical set pieces in it that are just so odd and so weird and so out of place. But, you know, everything in this movie is weird. And they actually years later did a stage show of Earth Girls Are Easy, a Broadway show. But they launched it like a couple of weeks around just before 9/11. So they're kind of like, it just didn't come back from that. But the director or producer or somebody involved said, guys, listen here. It's 1988. The 80s, we got a lot of 80s stuff here. Got a lot of 80s costumes, wardrobes, sets, things. We can't assume that this look is going to carry on into the 90s. So I want you to take every 80s thing you can think of and put it in this movie. Because, Dory, this movie is 80s vomiting.
Dying to watch it now. I have to. How have I never watched this movie?
I mean, they burn a Madonna album. And apparently that's because Madonna was offered the role, the Gina Davis role. When there's a whole thing with her fiance, doesn't want to sleep with her, then he wants to sleep with her, there's a whole thing. And now he tries to seduce her. He brings a Julio Iglesias LP. It is so 80s. It is unreal. Dory, you'll be pleased to know that watching this movie will not cost you a cent because it is on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
You know what? And the best part about it, you don't have to follow the story. There's no story. It's like if this was a skit in Living Color, you would have gone, that's a very weak skit. But instead, you will watch the whole movie. You know what, actually? Because in the hands of a less accomplished cast of actors, and let's be honest here, none of them are at the levels that they would eventually come. You know, of course, Jeff Goldblum was there, Gina Davis was going there, but no one was really at that level yet, but they all had magnetism. And if this was in the hands of like no names, it'd be like C grade at best. But because of all of them, and you can just see them young, and it's a silly movie, and it's a silly script, but they just go with it, and they're all such good actors. Gina Davis, a lot of body. They definitely, any chance they could put her into lingerie or bikini, they definitely did take that. There's a fantastic surfer dude in it. He's kind of a plot device, but it's so 80s. He's even a surfer dude. Like even the surfer dude from the Valley is in there. Earth Girls Are Easy. Great film. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
I will watch it as soon as possible and report back. You had me at Jeff Goldblum.
That's what I'm saying.
You know you didn't need to say another word after that.
I figured. There was a kind of revival of it. They call it the spiritual sequel. Britney Spears and Iggy Azalea, they did a collaboration. Those are people. And they did a collaboration. And the music video was kind of like a send-up or a homage to Earth Girls Are Easy. And if you've seen Iggy Azalea on OnlyFans, it could have been a turning point for her. In that being easy as an Earth Girl. But hey, that's just a passing commentary to keep me current, you know. Shows I know what's going on. Shows I know what's going on. So we're going to finish off with the story. We had a few technical snafus here, but Dory said, no, we got to power through because we got to cover the story. Okay. It's been floating around for a week. Our favorite Jessica Fletcher, I'm going to bring you some news from Jessica Fletcher. A headline scandalously shouts, "Murder She Smoked." The quaint Maine fishing villages that inspired Jessica Fletcher's beloved Cabot Cove could end up like San Francisco and Portland thanks to progressive lawmakers' plans to legalize all drugs.
Wow. I thought when I saw Murder She Smoked that it had come about that Angela Lansbury was a huge weed smoker.
Whatever whatever anyone's imagination is way more interesting than the story, okay? Because that's more interesting. No, so what the story
Actually, it's not that interesting.
The story's not that interesting. So what the story is obviously go back to Murder, She Wrote. Remember, go back. She lived in this quaint little town of Maine. Do you ever know a South African who's ever been to Maine? No.
I don't know a South African who's been to Maine, but I did meet an American from Maine at one point in my life.
That's what I'm saying. The Americans from Maine, not us. We go New York, San Francisco, LA, Miami, Florida.
Well, my mother used to love Murder, She Wrote, and she always used to say it looked so lovely there she'd love to visit.
So that lovely place, right,
Yes.
has now, in America, I don't know enough about their drug problem. It does look pretty bad. I think everyone's got a bad drug problem. But in certain parts of America, drugs are legal, and it's legal to use certain drugs on the street. And it's turned whole cities, towns into just absolute zombie. It's a nightmare. And now I don't know if they have passed it. The story's about 2 weeks old, but they're looking at passing the laws in the same place of Cabot Cove, where Murder, She Wrote wasn't filmed but was set. And they're going, no, this is going to be an absolute nightmare, because they still do get tourists coming to this little village because they want to go on a little bit of an Angela Lansbury tour. Right?
Yeah.
And go look at the place where she hid the bodies, how she plotted and committed all the murders. Because let's be honest, she was serial killer plus. Like, murder she did. Murder she did.
And really, really clever at pinning it on someone else every time.
Genius.
Like genius at framing queen, actually, let's call it.
I cannot wait until Murder, She Wrote comes into the kind of like Winnie the Pooh, and a version of Mickey Mouse is now in the public domain. So anybody can actually use them for their own, to make their own movies. I cannot wait for Murder, She Wrote to come into public domain, because we are definitely on that, and Murder, She Did. And it's all about all the murders Angela Lansbury did. So the story's not that interesting.
You see, I'm just looking at the story. It was filmed in California.
Yeah.
The show.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Wow.
Makes sense.
Because that's where Hollywood is, right?
That's it. So
that's nuts. So it wasn't even filmed on the East Coast.
No, so all the exteriors and the shots and all of that was done, obviously but the actual in-set stuff and on-set, that was the soundstage all in California.
Right.
The magic of movies, Dory. Like, did you know, when I spoke to you about Earth Girls Are Easy, Jeff Goldblum didn't really have blue hair all over his body. Costumes.
Oh, wow.
Makeup.
Okay.
Makeup, yeah. Yeah.
Special effects.
Yeah. It's special effects.
These photos on this article of people doing drugs. Wow.
I know. It's quite like, we're going to show you people doing drugs, and you're going to look at it, and that's what your day is going to be like.
And then there's a picture of a smiling Angela Lansbury underneath.
Listen, that article that we got this is all over the place. It doesn't follow a coherent thought at all. It's just like, we got all these thoughts about the story, we're just going to put them in. Yeah. And it jumps from talking about this legislation that they're passing to, literally the next sentence is they shot on a soundstage. It's like, it's all over the place. So drugs.
But let's just be clear here. We're not just talking about weed. They are talking about all drugs. Heroin, cocaine, all of it.
So like in San Francisco, that's what it is. It's like, that's why it's so many parts of San Francisco are absolute zombie town.
The biggest problem in the US is the opioid problem. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah. So it sounds like an episode of Murder, She Wrote.
Right.
It does. And then, of course, there's a murder. One of the drug users commits a murder. So it got me wondering about some of the episodes of Murder, She Wrote. And I just want to read some. These are the top 5 that I found. This list got 15. Okay, so this Murder, She Smoked sounds like an episode of Murder, She Wrote. But here are actual episodes of Murder, She Wrote. One called Who Killed J.B. Fletcher? Okay, it's one of the most creative, rated as one of the most creative episodes, because it pits Jessica Fletcher against a formidable foe, someone who was impersonating her. Okay, so a lady called Marge Allen is arrested for faking her identity as Jessica Fletcher. But when Marge ends up dead in an auto accident, Jessica senses something fishy. Of course she did, because you cut her brakes. She goes on to solve a trio of enigmatic murders, including that of Simon and Liz McCauley, a married couple who own a dog kennel. 3 murders solved in a single episode is a lot, even for Jessica Fletcher. Number 5. Okay. The number 4, the corpse flew first class. Okay. Jessica's first class flight to London is interrupted by a deadly distraction. On board, an actress named Sunny Greer. She's on board with her, and Jessica's asked to investigate when Sunny's lover and chauffeur Leon is poisoned to death. Oh no. Jessica poisoning people on planes. Finally, they got her. Jessica behind bars.
Yeah.
Oh, they get it. This episode is called Jessica Behind Bars. Most of the episode occurs in a women's penitentiary where she goes to teach a rioting class. The prisoners riot during the episode and ask Jessica to solve a murder that one of them is being blamed for, a.k.a. she committed.
Well, when you've got the queen of framing in the jail with you, use her, right?
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Another episode called Trial by Error. Jessica is a foreperson of a jury. No, of course she's in the jury. She can corrupt the whole system. Okay.
That sounds familiar.
Okay, listen to it if you know it. She presides over a case that involves the death of Cliff Anderson, whose adulterous wife was caught having an affair with a man named Mark Reynolds. Those are two of the whitest names I've ever heard in my life. Jessica deliberates whether Anderson's murder was premeditated or done in self-defense. And now, of course, she hangs the jury because she can. And finally, murder takes the bus. Okay. It's a riff on a classic Agatha Christie tale. It's a baleful bus ride, but instead of a lethal locomotive, it is surprisingly effective. Those are weird words put together. Okay, Jessica decides.
What they're saying is it's supposed to be kind of like a ripoff of Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah. But
so they're saying instead of a train, it's a bus.
It's a bus. Okay.
That's all.
She's on a bus. She decides to attend the sheriff's convention in Portland. Oh, so she's corrupting cops at the highest level. She travels on a bus during a stormy night, and it takes a terrifying turn after a bank robber is found stabbed to death with a screwdriver. Rue McClanahan and Linda Blair are guest stars in this episode. And it's rated the best Murder, She Wrote episode. So that's...
I wonder if these are on YouTube. I could watch one.
You
one.
think so?
Not one or two. One.
I don't like Murder, She Wrote.
I'll watch this one because it's the highest rated.
Murder Takes a Bus. It's got Rue McClanahan, Blanche. From
Exactly.
Golden Girls.
I'd watch it for that reason.
Yeah, you got to watch her. So
I'm going to do some experimenting this weekend.
Good stuff. But don't experiment with drugs. If you want to do that, go to Maine. No, it's not legal in the streets here. So we've been holding on to that for a couple of weeks now. We wanted to talk about some murders she smoked. Take a little turn. All the Murder, She Wrote episodes. Every murder is so obviously her. It's so obviously her.
All I know is, you remember the big joke was like, don't ever be around this woman because someone around her always dies.
True
Don't be in the room with her.
Don't be. And she'll monetize it. She'll write a book about it. You're like, geez.
And now that I think about it, did you watch the murder mystery movies on Netflix with Jennifer Aniston and, oh my God, his name is...
Oh, yes, Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler. Yeah. They kind of similar because wherever they are, there's a murder. Similar idea.
It's like Glass Onion with James Bond.
Yes,
Those kind of movies with that character. Again, it's all them. We all know it's them. You know? So wait for the special podcast series, the dramatic podcast series, Narrative Murder She Did. That 80 show presents how Jessica Fletcher killed everybody, the biggest serial killer on 80s TV. Oh, Dory, what a week we've had. From Pet Shop Boys to Heidi Klum singing Corey Hart songs that we expected to come in hard on that, but we actually loved it. So it will be playing out of our tape decks this weekend. No doubt about it, Dory. Favorite thing you perhaps learned this week?
That Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis were really married. I don't know how I didn't know that.
Surprised me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Took me by surprise.
We have so much homework from this week's show. Thank you.
This has been that 80 show. Everything that we spoke about on the show can be found all over the internet because that's how we do our research. Basically, watch Netflix and read Screen Rant, and then you know what's coming up in the show. But if you want it all collated for you, that 80 show essay on Facebook. Thanks for joining me, Dory. Goodbye.
Bye.